guys, welcome to this video. Hope this video is useful to some of you and that you can use this in today's life and in the future and so on and so on. So without any further ado, let's jump in. Okay, so today we are going to focus on problem solving. So I've done some research on the specific skills that is required for future generations to be successful. So the ones that stood out for me is adaptability, critical thinking skills and creativity. And basically all three of these is required within the problem solving skill as well. So if you think of what is happening today, right now in 2020 we are faced with the COVID-19 situation. I feel so smart when I say COVID-19 instead of coronavirus, right? So what are we faced with right now? So we are faced with the virus that we cannot go out of our houses, we cannot participate socially, social distancing, and how are we supposed to function within business, within life in general, when we cannot even leave our houses. So this is a real problem that we are solving, and there is specific techniques and methods what we can use to help us overcome these problems. So in the life that we're living in right now, with technology expanding so fast that we can almost not even keep up, there is a lot of problems, right? So this can be small problems and this can be big problems. This can even be problems not with regards to business or even technology as industry, right? So let's quickly look at a few examples. So we get small problems, so the kind of problems like you get up in the mornings, you cannot find your socks. This takes out time, you're late for work and so on. Or you're late for school, and this is a very simple problem. And then there's the bigger kind of problems, the kind of problems that we're faced with in everyday life, such as how do I get clients for my business? Why do I fail on my tests? Depression. Depression is a very enormous problem that we're facing today, and there are specific solutions to these problems. Okay, so without further me just like chatting, the problem solving model, method, technique, whatever you want to call it, is going to be the IDEA model. So IDEA is an acronym for identify, develop, execute and assess. So we are going to handle each one of these categories within the word IDEA, and we are going to follow a system that will help us to go from the problem to the complete solution and goal. Okay, so just to quickly give a quick overview of how we're going to do this. IDEA stands for identify. We're going to identify the specific problem, and we are going to identify a specific cause to that problem. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to develop a solution to that problem. So we're going to brainstorm with a few ideas, and then we're going to analyze the solution that is most effective. After this, we are going to execute the solution by setting specific goals, and then we are going to assess the situation and see if the problem was solved in the beginning. Okay, so this seems very basic at first, but what I want you guys to understand is that even though the problem is very simple and it's a very basic problem, this problem solving is still a skill. So the more we're going to practice the skill, the more you'll be able to think differently and think outside of the box to actually solve problems in the future. Step 1, identify the problem. So when we identify the problem, we are actually identifying the specific symptoms or the causes that the problem has on us as human beings. So we are going to take an example, and then I'm going to use this one example right through this video. Okay, so the problem that I'm facing is I am constantly walking through the living room of my house and I'm constantly bumping my toe against a piece of furniture. So basically the symptom or the effect that has an influence on myself is pain. Okay, so when I identify the problem and I identify the symptom, I want to basically identify the cause. So how do we identify the cause? We ask why. And we ask why over and over so that we get a chain of responses that we can basically solve the problem and get to the cause of the problem, right? So an example is, why do I bump my toe? So ideally we want to come up with 3 causes, and then we're going to see which one of these causes can help us solve the problem. So one of it can be is, why do I bump my toe against a piece of furniture? First of all, it can be in the way. Second of all, I don't focus. And third of all, the design of the piece of furniture is just weird. Okay, so then we're going to ask why again. Why is the piece of furniture in the way? It's because of the layout. Why do I not focus? Maybe I'm tired. And then why is the piece of furniture designed the way that it is? that is something that we cannot solve. So that is a cause that we won't be able to find a solution to right away. So we're going to work with the first two causes. Cause of the layout being weird and me being tired. Okay, so which one is most probably the one that we're going to work with? The layout of the room. So that takes us to step number 2. Step number 2, develop a solution to the cause that we've just identified. So once again, we want to basically develop 3 solutions so that we can choose the most effective solution to the problem. So how we can do this is you can do this through research or by just using our brains. The cause that we're going to work with now is the layout. That is the most effective way to solve the problem of me bumping my toe. And how can we solve this? So a few solutions to this problem is we can move a few things around, we can move to another house with bigger space, or we cannot walk at all. Right, so now you can see that not all the solutions that I just gave you is realistic and effective. So we are going to choose the most relevant solution to the problem, and how we are going to do this, we are going to use the SWOT analysis technique. So the SWOT analysis works as follows. You are going to evaluate the solution through its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So let's analyze our 3 solutions. Moving to a bigger house. Strengths, you will have more space, meaning that you will be able to walk and navigate through furniture a little bit faster. The weaknesses, depending on your situation right now, not everyone can just quickly move to a new house just because they bumped their toe, right? So that's a definite weakness. So for this specific problem, that is a very simple problem. We're just going to work with strengths and weaknesses. So let's look at the weakness of the solution. The weakness is not necessarily everyone will be able to move a house just because they bumped their toe on a piece of furniture. So just evaluating it like that, you can see that moving to a new house is definitely not going to be effective enough, right? So another solution that we came up with is moving a few things around. So let's look at the strength. The strength is, it's very easy to move things around, it's not expensive, it does not take a lot of effort, we're just basically going to move things around. The weakness is we are still working with the same amount of space, right? So depending on the situation that we're working with, you're going to have to choose one of those, and I think the most effective solution to choose is moving things around. Step number 3, execute, execute, execute. Alright, so what we want to do is we want to execute the solution that we just developed. And once again, we want to set about 3 specific goals to ourselves to analyze and see which one of these 3 goals are effective. We have to analyze these goals as well, and we are going to use the SMART method for that. So the SMART method is also an acronym that we're going to use, and it stands for specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and time bound. So we want to see if this goal that we have just chosen is specific. Yes, it is specific because I can say to myself, tomorrow at 12 o'clock I want to move things around. Is my goal measurable? Yes, I would say definitely, because 12 o'clock tomorrow morning, if I didn't do it by 12 o'clock, I can see that I did not accomplish my goal. Is it actionable? Am I physically capable of doing this? Is it within my capabilities to move a few things around? Is my goal relevant? I would say yes, because if I move a few things around, I would have to be able to walk around things in a different way, which will stop me from bumping my toe against a specific thing. Is the goal that I set time bound? So am I capable of setting specific milestones to the goal or the solution that I'm trying to implement? Step number 4, we want to assess if the solution is and was effective. So usually when we assess the situation, we do this after we actually solve the problem, and then we see if it actually worked. So what we basically need to do is we want to follow our step all the way from the last step to the first step, which is going to be step 3, step 2, step 1, and we're going to see if that solution was actually effective. Did the layout actually prevent me from bumping my toe, or did I see that I actually did bump my toe in the end? If the case is yes, it did solve my problem, do I still have pain? No, I don't. So let's have a look at what we've accomplished so far. We've identified the problem and basically the effect that that problem has on me as a human being, and we've identified the specific cause. So then when we identified the cause, we worked on a solution to solve that cause with the SWOT analysis to see if that solution is effective or not. After that, we've executed a plan and we've set a goal for ourselves, and we've chosen one of the goals by using the SMART analysis to see if that goal is actionable. And then we have actually implemented that goal, and then we assessed if that goal and the solution actually solved the problem that we were looking for.
Okay guys, what we're going to do now is we're going to actually test the idea model in a practical situation. So the situation that we are going to use is the COVID-19 situation that everyone is in lockdown. So there's a few symptoms, effects and problems within this situation that we have to identify. So what we're going to do is we're going to write down the word idea, and we are going to make sure that everything is laid out on the page so that we can view everything as a whole, so that we can know exactly where we are going. So this is just a basic rough draft of the idea model. It's a very, very rough draft so that you guys can understand that this is a process. Okay, so we're going to start with identifying specific problems. So what we're basically doing there is we're identifying the specific symptoms or the effect that these problems have on us as human beings, right? Okay, so for each step, I, D, E and A, we are most probably going to use at least 3 steps or ideas or solutions or goals or identifications. So here what I'm doing is that the first effect that I see is that we cannot leave our houses and that we have to be stuck in our houses, we cannot get out. And then the second one that I see is another problem is people are struggling to actually make money. And then another problem is that big businesses are really being affected by this, and people are not actually getting paid, right? So now the next step what we're going to do is we're going to ask why, and to see if we can actually find a cause to actually solve this problem. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to ask why. Why can't we not leave our houses? Because of the COVID-19 regulations, and this is required by law, obviously. So would we be able to solve this? No, not really, because we are not allowed by law to leave our houses, right? So the next problem that we see is that people are struggling to make money. So the first question that we're going to ask why is why, and this is we can't basically see or engage with other people. So it's a very big problem. We cannot actually engage with people, and that's why we can't make money. Okay, and step number 3 is why does big businesses fail? If you go and look in the news and everything, that even Edgar's and Jet is actually closing down because they lose a lot of money. So why do they lose money? Because they cannot gain because of people not being able to go to work actually. Right. So now that we have viewed a few causes, so we can see that the main cause that we can actually solve is the one in the middle. We cannot engage with people and therefore we cannot make money. And I think this is actually a problem that we can solve, because we cannot solve number 1 and we cannot solve number 3 because number 3 is out of our hands. We are not necessarily the bosses and the owners of big businesses, but we do have control of our own. Okay, so then we're going to go to step 2. We're going to develop solutions. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to select 3 or at least 3 solutions for this one specific cause that you have recognized. So I'm going to do 3 solutions on cause number 2 that I've identified on the left side of the page. Well, solution 1, solution 2, solution 3. Okay, so what I can think of is a basic solution of how I can actually gain money if I cannot actually engage with people. The only thing that I really can think of is actually to go online. Okay, now this is a very simple solution, although there is a few flaws, but we will do the SWOT analysis later. So part 2 or solution 2, we can actually go out and see people. Okay, that's a solution, but we'll go through the SWOT analysis and see if it's effective or not. Step number 3 is wait and do nothing basically. Wait until everything is over and then we go. So that's the 3 basic solutions that I've got, and then I'm gonna do the SWOT analysis for all 3 of these solutions to see which one is effective and which one is not effective. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, can we actually go online? What is the strengths of this? It's definitely a strength because we can actually sell stuff online and we don't actually have to engage with people. What is the weakness? The weakness is definitely it costs money. What is the opportunity? The opportunity is I can actually meet new people online and actually grow my business. And what is the threats? Other people will also be able to do that, and also once again it costs a lot of money. Okay, let's go to number 2. Go out and see people. I'm just going to start with the weakness. By law, we are not allowed to actually go outside and see people, so that's a very, very big weakness. The strength is we can actually then see people, but this is definitely not going to work because there's no opportunities, and the threats is very, very high because of the police going to be able to chase us, so we don't really want to do that. So let's go to solution number 3. I'm gonna wait and sit and do nothing. What's the strengths? I would say there's less stress maybe. What is the weakness? There's definitely a weakness because now we actually sit around and do nothing, so we still don't gain anything. Opportunities, there's no opportunities here, and definitely there's a threat of me not actually getting money, right? So let's evaluate some of these solutions. So we are definitely going to have to go online. Now I know that a lot of businesses depend on actually seeing people like hairdressers, people doing facials, people doing your nails, teachers. There's a lot of people that actually needs to engage. So let's look at a few goals that we can actually set to actually solve the problem. So goal number 1, goal number 2, goal number 3, and let's brainstorm a little bit now. So goal 1 is actually to create an online business. Alright, how do I take my business online? By actually setting up products online. So this does not necessarily mean that you have to start a website right away. This actually means that you can just start putting ads on WhatsApp or on Facebook and actually telling people that, you know what, we are going through the situation. I'm going to actually do stuff online right now. So let's look at goal number 2. This is something that we can set up future appointments for the discount price now via WhatsApp and Facebook. So what this will accomplish is people that really need to see their clients and actually physically do things with their clients, like let's say a hairdresser or a barber, you really need to actually see a person, right? So what you can do is you can actually set up discounted prices that people pay you right now, and they just come back later, and then after the lockdown they just show the voucher that they bought and then actually do their hair and their nails and whatever afterwards, right? So let's look at goal number 3. Goal number 3 is do this by, let's say, next week Monday. So you'll have more or less like a week to actually do this, and I think that is a pretty specific goal. So let's use the SMART analysis to actually look through these goals. And actually for this specific example, I want to actually incorporate all 3 goals within the solution. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and time bound. So we want to make sure that this is the goals that we set is specific. Is my goal specific? Yes, because this has to be done by next week Monday. I know that I have to set up ads to do a specific thing, like set up appointments for the future. M is for measurable. Is my goal measurable? Yes, it is measurable because I can track my progress for the next week and actually see by next week Friday by this week Friday did I actually accomplish what I tried to do. Is it actionable? Yes, I would definitely say it's actionable. This is something that everyone can do. Everyone has Facebook or WhatsApp, and this is basically taking things online if you don't necessarily want to start a website, which I think is actually also a very good idea. Is it actionable to let people pay you now for things that they're going to do later? R stands for relevant. Is this goals that we've set relevant? I would say it's definitely relevant in today's day, because we are living in an amazing age where technology is of great help. So setting up online business, this is definitely relevant. Is it time bound? I think this is definitely time bound, for the simple fact that this is a situation that lasts about 21 days. We can definitely make this work within a week and actually set up appointments, start an online business, collaborate with different people online. So what we're going to do last is we're going to assess and see if this actually works. We're going to trace our steps back. So we're going to go to execute. Did we actually execute the plan after we've actually done it? And then we're going to see, did the solution of going online help us with the cause that we've identified we cannot make money? So now, did you actually create the ads by executing your goals, by asking people to pay you in advance, basically at a discounted price, obviously, and then did they actually pay you, that you make money, yes or no? If this did not work, we're going to go and actually use and think of different solutions and set up different goals for this.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you learned something. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.